Okay, before we start, let's have a look at a UK electricity bill. This was before the 22nd of February, rate 20.93 per kilowatt hour. Okay, now the new estimate of what we're going to get in this household is going to be up to £2,000, and it's gone up by 50%, which is like 10 pence. So you can see the day, night and off peak, all the same for me, and the standing charge has gone up quite considerably. Yep, so that's the way it's happening in the UK at the moment, and we will be expecting another rise in October, won't we? Okay, so this is what they expect us to pay on an estimate, which is about £2,000. Alright then, guys and girls, hello, welcome back, and I'd like to apologise. I uploaded a video earlier this week and I was asked to remove it because it pertains certain details about the incident that happened at my workplace a few weeks ago, and they don't want it public at all. Okay, so I can't talk about it. It's just out of respect for the person who actually lost their life in the workshop. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Now, yeah, we've got a holiday now for 2 days extra to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. I'm just happy of a rest. Absolutely shattered, as you can imagine, the stresses that we're being put through at the moment from quite a lot of different sides. Today is just rest and digest day, okay? And I've got the compound bow now, which is between axles, is at 30 inches. And we'll be having a play with that shortly, but to be honest with you, I haven't even got the strength to pull at the moment. So what I want to talk about, I'm going to give you a little garden tour, if you like, to show you how I'm doing. But I'd also like to say that this new rocket system that's going to be sent to the Ukraine, it seems to be a subject that's been exploited by certain prepper news outlets, if you like. It seems to be something dramatic, but it's not really. They're only getting one system, one complex, and I think they'll get 4 in total, according to the Duran and Alex Mercurius, who's now explaining this. The system itself, now you'd think, wow, it's really impressive, it's going to change the course of this conflict. Maybe not, okay? When you look into the details of what's involved in it, the amount of ammunition it consumes and the supply line it needs to keep it going, then you realise it's actually probably a folly. Maybe that's why America's only given them one complex, okay? So here, there's 2 videos here. If you're interested in that, which I advise you do, because you can be more informed, therefore not panicked about any escalations. These guys will explain about the system and how demanding it actually is on ordnance, okay, and logistics, which isn't on the Ukrainian side, okay. Other than that, what I'd advise you to do now, if the video is still up, is to go and have a look at Neil McCoy Ward. If you follow him, you'll probably seen the video. If not, watch it, go and watch it. Link is down below, and it may be taken off pretty shortly because it's talking about the World Economic Forum and the changes they want to implement in the world. 2030 is a date for something, and it might well explain the shit that we're going through now with energy costs, okay, and why they seem to be so rabid about sanctioning Russia with oil embargoes and stuff like that, which is damaging us. But there is an agenda behind it, and I'm sure some of you already know. You already know what's happening. They're attacking everything. And it comes from financiers. Or this is what Neil's saying, and I tend to agree with him. Neil has very quickly come into the fold, if you like. He is preparing. Now, there is a little bit of a panic behind it. There's a lot of anxiety behind it, and it can wear you out. And what I suggest you do is you need to find balance. This is why I'm saying with this HIMARS system, if you heard about it, you think, oh my God, yeah, there's a bit of a panic there. Oh shit, yeah, Russia's going to nuke us. Well, go and have a look at the other videos to balance out and get more information. Be more informed. That's all I can say, because this is a topic that will be exploited by preppers who need to push the anxiety. It's not that they're doing it for any malicious purpose. It's just that that's their head state that they're in, and I do understand it. I get in it myself. This is why I have to find a way to rebalance my head and calm it down, if you like. It's not about being pro-Russian or anything like that, or being an apologist for Putin. However, I will bring this subject up, and it has been said that Putin is against the New World Order. Well, this is very interesting. This is very interesting because with the regards to the World Economic Forum, they want a monopoly, don't they? They want a singularity. They want a single polar world, okay, where they're all in control. Whereas Lavrov, Putin, the Russian Federation are talking about a multipolar world where people are, or governments, countries, governments are more in control of themselves rather than being dictated to. And I have a sneaking suspicion that the way this war is not just about the territory in Ukraine. It's a lot more than that. There's a lot more involved in that. So if you have an open mind, you think, well, actually, I'll have a look at Putin and see what he's got to say. Have a look at what Lavrov have got to say. Haven't listened to him. I know some people are absolutely rabid against the Russians because they think they're barbarous. But then again, that's low-level thinking. That's just sheep mentality. If you can rise above that and be a free thinker, you can then analyse information and you can see which direction we're heading in and where the resistances are, okay? Because not everybody's going to be on board with this WEF initiative, if you like, or to change the world to how they want it. And basically, yeah, they want control. And I do believe that there is an agenda, but there's also pushback as well. There's always going to be resistance. And that's the bigger players I'm talking about, okay? So, yeah, that's just my opinion, okay? So, anyway, that's my piece of saying today that it's a massive jigsaw puzzle and it's not something you can put together in 5 minutes. You have to absorb a lot of information and then start to make connections. But, of course, you can always make the wrong connections if you're in an anxious state, yeah? So you have to chill, first of all, and then start to think and start to absorb information, if that's what you want. Me, personally, I'm burnt out now from both ends. When you burn the candle from both ends, you know, prepping and having SHTF in my workplace, for instance, it's just very wearing. So what we're doing is gardening, and then I've got to find somewhere to shoot this. You can't just wander around and shoot this, and my garden's too small. So we'll be finding a farmer, maybe something like that, to practice this. Nice bit of kit though. The engineering's nice. We'll talk about this later. Just give me some time first, yeah. It's maybe the difference between being a savage and being able to eat and being a drone in the New World Order that they're trying to introduce, yeah. Just out of an interest though, have you read Aldous Huxley's Brave New World? It's an interesting book. It does talk about a structure of society, or the way it could be run by bureaucrats, yeah, where you have a society that's full of it, what they want to create, how I see they're wanting to create it, and then you have the other side, which are the savages, which are not part of that system, yeah. It's an interesting book. There's 2 tiers to that book. There's one about the way the society is structured, but there's also the interpersonal thing there. But I'll leave it there. It's an interesting book. It's worth a read. That might put some ideas in your head and put some things in perspective. Anyway, now let's get on to the garden, shall we? Okay, so the garden's thriving at the moment, and we're planting more stuff as it grows in pots. Had a little bit of a doubt of what exactly this plant was, but it's turned out to be a runner bean, but a very fast growing one. This was one of the first that popped up, but it looked like a weed, so we stuck that in the ground. I did put some meat in the ground for extra nutrition, and you can see nature is doing its thing. Maggots there, somebody wants them for fishing. Buried it again. Now what we're doing here is putting vines up for these nice little plants, runner beans, to grow up on. As you can see here, they find something to crawl up on and then they'll twist themselves around. Very intelligent plants. Now the cabbages, I planted them too close together. As I say, I don't know what I'm doing, but look at them. Okay, they're actually getting quite big. They start to clump up into a fist after a while, as you can see here. This is where you get the cabbage, as it were. When it's nice and tight, we can then harvest that, so it's quite nice once it's nice and tight like a fist. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty good, that one. And look at the colour of them. Yeah, beautiful. Unfortunately, we did have a little bit of a pest strike. This was grey something or another's, but we washed them off. And you can see the runner beans will grow. Once we've harvested them, we can then use this piece of soil for something else non-permanent. This is a permanent fixture now, which is going to be red currant. As you can see, the currants are already growing. Nice. Blueberries we bought, they've already started producing blueberries. They're quite nice. I might get some more of those if I can find them. Very healthy. We put coffee now in the ground to make it a little bit more acidic, so that's just coffee grounds that soft fruit likes. And the autumn raspberries, these will produce raspberries in the autumn. You can see all the new growth here. This one actually I bought from a supermarket, and it's doing exceptionally well. You can see all the new growth on there. They grow green first of all, and then they have stems which look like wood, okay, as they mature a bit, so that's doing well. These were a gift from somebody. They are growing, as you can see, different coloured leaves. One's died, it's not growing, but the others will grow, and they will grow crazily, you can see. Okay, courgettes in pots. Didn't think they'd grow, they started growing. And then we have butternut squash here, and tomatoes. And believe me, I suddenly have a lot of tomatoes along with French beans as well. Didn't think they'd grow, but they are growing, as you can see there. I'm going to have to find a spot for them. And more butternut squash. Yeah, so things are starting to grow quite considerably. I'm surprised, actually. Potatoes here, grown from just seeds that sprouted, to tomatoes. And more French beans. This one has weird leaves because it was sat on my windowsill, and it started to turn its leaves towards the sun, and that's what they do. That's what leaves are there for, to get the energy from the sun. And tomatoes, and some more tomatoes. Actually, I've got too many tomato plants, which is good because I can gift them to people. Now, I planted a slice of tomato from the supermarket. These are piccolo tomatoes, and they've sprouted, and that's pretty good. This is actually excellent because it works out at pence for the seeds, rather than buying a packet from a supermarket or a gardening store, which surprisingly I've had less success with. And I did buy a packet of seeds which were not tomato plants, and found that there are tomato plants in it, so that was quite a shock there. As you can see, 2 of those. This is shop bought, doing quite well. Unfortunately, tomatoes are quite susceptible to diseases, so this is another thing for research now, is to work out how to protect them, okay? But they're doing exceptionally well, okay? It seems to be an English thing. That smells good. Tomato plant sniffer. Yeah, I love the smell of tomatoes. Yeah, salad's already finished, replanted again. Garlic, surprisingly, I thought it was going to die, but it's not. It's growing, and I don't know what to do with it yet, but we'll leave it like that for now. You see all the pots that I use, they're just random stuff, and containers don't have enough planting space, but we're always looking for containers, finding them from wherever we can get them from, even if it's cut down barrels. As well as bags. Look at this. Some of these are shopping bags that I put the potatoes in, and it's just the way we're having to do it rather than digging up the land. Okay, so nature is incredible, and I've actually noticed now the different shades of green you get with different plants, the textures and the smells. It's a new experience, and of course it's all here to be eaten at the end of the day. Beautiful stuff, eh?